Designing on a grid is another small thing you can do as you're beginning to design to help your layout look interesting, but also very organized. Again, you're an organizer of information, and designing on a grid is something to keep in mind when you don't know quite where to start or how to lay things out. So, again, layout is taking pictures and text and graphics and making them work together. There's three pieces. You have your design elements, you'd have your design principles, you have hierarchy, you have this. Putting it all together is confusing, but let's make some sense of it. First of all, you have margins. These lines, again, on the inside help you with a safe zone to keep text inside. Don't put text on the outside of it. That's basically it. But they're guides to help you line things up. So if I had, let's say, a box here, and I wanted to, I'm just going to fill it with blue. And if I wanted to, make another box here, I would just leave things aligned on that margin. That's the general idea. Is you're going to use lines to line things up. You're going to put guides on this to line things up, and it's going to become sort of this grid. So just use guides to line things up. So let's put this into practice. I have some images here that should help us out. I'm going to start with, let's say, Hulk, and I'm just going to put him right there. I'm going to maybe make his image a little smaller, and I've placed him there, just kind of starting with that. There are two lines that I can see vertically. There's the margin, and then there's this one. I'm going to drag a guide over here. All right, so now I have this kind of column that I've created, and I'm going to put my text over here, and I'm going to use that. This is kind of a challenging font, but I'm just going to kind of eyeball that. And then I'm going to put my subheadline maybe lined up with that guideline as well. Right there, I've used that line to sort of line up the right side of the text. I could do more of this. Let's say I'm going to put Kang down here. I'm going to do a bleed with him. Can't wait for this movie to come out. Do a little creative cropping here. I'm using a lot of keyboard shortcuts to move things around. It helps me a lot. So if you want to learn those, let me know. Okay. I placed them down there. I'm going to have a little spot about Kang. Now I have a guide there, and I also have my guide, my margin right there. So maybe I have my body copy is going to be lined up at the top there. Okay, just a note, give yourself some space between copy and images. There should be a margin around images naturally. Let's see if we can use some other images here. I'm going to use Iron Man, and I have a natural sort of guide right here with the margin, and I'm just going to throw that one right there. That's interfering with my text originally, so I'm just going to bring it over here and move my image over like that. But on the right hand side, I have a margin. I'm not using it with this image, but if I did, that might be a little stronger. All right, and then I'm going to use the Spider-Man image up here and do the same thing and line that up to the right hand side. Let's see what we can do there. I'm running out of room over here, so I'm going to just drag this guy there. The left-hand side, I'm not too worried about. Maybe I just do this. This is more of a gut feeling, kind of what makes sense. But the right-hand side, I'm going to spend some time with and make sure that that makes sense. First of all, is it aligned to the margin on the right or a guide that I've placed? And then second of all, check out the spacing between each one to make sure that is equal. There are tools for that. So right there, I've just used some guides, two guides, and the existing margins to line things up. I'm designing on a grid. If I press W, that's an interesting layout. Of course, I spent 5 minutes on it. It's not awesome, but it's a start. It's a place where I can start kind of getting a feel for how I want to lay things out. And then if I start thinking about hierarchy here, I can start going, well, I need something to be maybe bigger because I want that to be the focal image, that kind of the hero image, or I need my headline and my subheadline to be bigger because I'm not quite drawn to that. So design on a grid, Let the guides help you. Don't like just start placing stuff without a plan. There is some method to the madness. So design on grid, it'll help you out.